Hello everyone, today we're going to talk about, we're beginning our first lesson on economics, and we have a new SPI, which is 5.2.1, where we need to differentiate, or tell the difference between needs and wants on a personal and a national level. You're probably familiar with personal needs and wants, but it gets kind of tricky when we look at our country's needs and wants, okay? Our central question is, how can I determine the difference between needs and wants on a personal and national level? Okay. Key terms that we need to know: need, want, cost, and benefit. We'll talk about cost and benefits a little bit later on. But first of all, let's make us a T-chart here. I think this will be a good way to differentiate between needs and wants to meet our learning goal. Okay, let's get a little bit better here. Needs, wants. Okay, I'm just going to label that one this P, because we know that this is personal needs and wants. Okay, this box down here we're going to label with an N. That's national needs and wants. Okay, so first of all, personal needs and wants you're familiar with. Things like food, shelter, clothing, and water. Personal wants will be things like video games, TV, cars, and so forth. Alright, that's personal needs and wants. Now, when we get down to national needs and wants, that's where it gets kind of tricky, okay? Because countries have wants and needs too, okay? Countries' needs are those things that allow it to, I guess, provide its people with their basic needs, okay? Sometimes a country may provide those needs directly, okay? For example, you have people who have government housing who maybe can't afford a nice house, or who have a very low income. Those people can get housing from the government, okay? Also, in the form of food, okay? If people are on some kind of government assistance where the government will help them out directly by giving them the opportunity to purchase food, okay? So that's one way that the country meets the main needs of its people, okay? But when we look at the needs and wants of our country, mostly we think about the things that our country needs, okay, to function. The first thing, our country needs resources, okay? Resources. Resource could be a natural resource, okay, like wood, things like that. However, on the other hand, it would be a national want to use what we call fossil fuel resources. Okay, when we think of fossil fuel, we think of this is a fuel source that comes directly from the earth, like gas, oil, things like that. Okay, that is a want, because there are other forms of resources available, other forms of energy available, okay, in the form of wind and things like that, okay, cleaner forms of energy, okay, so there's an alternative there, okay, so that is a want, that and that's especially important when you think about things like pollution and things like that, okay, so cleaner sources of energy. Another basic need that our country needs, I'm going to say farming. Because the food supply, okay, you're always going to need some kind of food supply to help the country flourish, okay? So that's one thing that I would say would be an important need for the country, okay? I'm going to also say, for another need, jobs. Okay, our country would not run without the jobs that people do and without the hard work that people do, okay? So there you have just some needs and wants. really, when you get into national wants, it gets kind of confusing. So maybe you can think of a little more than I could. So now let's move on a little bit here, and let's talk about the difference, or our next cost and benefits. Okay, the difference between a cost and a benefit. Okay, let's see here. Okay, and I want you to make sure you get these two definitions down, and we're going to make this as simple as possible. A cost is what is given up for a benefit. Okay, so a cost is what is given up for a benefit. A benefit, on the other hand, is what is received after the cost. So there you have the difference between a cost and a benefit, okay? Cost is what you sacrifice. This goes for any decision that you make, okay? Absolutely any decision that you make, okay? It doesn't have to be an economic decision. It could whatever decision you can think of. So that's the difference between a cost and a benefit. So now that you know the difference between a cost and a benefit, here's what our assignment is going to be. We're going to do what we call a cost benefit analysis. Okay, and you can just do this on your own paper, okay? You can use this technique for any decision that you make. It doesn't. We'll specifically talk about economic decisions, but any decision that you make. Okay. So what I'd like for you to do is I want you to come up with 3 decisions that you make on a regular basis. Okay, 3 decisions. It can be about anything. All right, 3 decisions that you make on a regular basis. For each one of these decisions, I want you to list the cost and the benefit. Okay, it should be fairly simple. Okay, let me give you an example. Okay, this morning I made the decision to get out of bed. Okay, what would the cost be for that decision? The cost would be the extra amount of sleep that I would have gotten if I'd have slept 3 more hours. Okay, that is the cost. The benefit is I get to come to school and I get to hang out with wonderful people. I get to get to know some great kids, and I get to have a job. Okay, so that's the benefit that I have from getting up out of bed today. Okay, so 3 decisions. List the cost and benefit for each. Okay, some people do this in the form of a chart. Okay, where you would list the decision in the far left. Okay, along with the cost and the benefits. Okay, so I want you to work on that, and I guess on Wednesday of this week, be ready to discuss these. Okay, so this is called a cost and benefit analysis. All right, so that's about all I have. Hopefully this has been helpful to you. Please use these videos to help you study. We're probably going to have a quiz maybe early next week over this stuff. We won't have a big test over this unit, okay, since it's so small. And just please let me know if you have any questions. Thanks. Bye.